Hello, hi everyone. Welcome back to Woo Can Cook. My name is Wesley, and this is a show where we are slowly cooking our way through all of the food from my childhood. Today we're diving back into our series dedicated to Japanese classics with a breaded and fried pork cutlet or tonkatsu. Now, for those following along, not too long ago we did a pretty similar dish known as chicken katsu, which, as you might guess, is the same dish but made using a flattened and breaded chicken breast in lieu of the pork cutlet. For our version today though, I thought I'd use our tonkatsu as an excuse to take a shot at this fun cucumber salad that has been floating around the internet, made using Persian cucumbers. It is for the most part a pretty straightforward cucumber salad with one unique attribute in the way that the cucumber is chopped, wherein a set of chopsticks are employed as a guide to create these fun cucumber accordion shapes. Whoa. If that's not a YouTube thumbnail, I don't know what is. Then finally, we'll also be making use of my tried and true katsu recipe to make these perfectly golden pork cutlets, amplified by my favorite secret ingredient, which is a pinch of dashi powder. Okay, so let's get into it. Alright, so diving right in, we're starting things off here with some aromatic veggies to go along with our tonkatsu sauce, which we're going to be reducing in the wok later on. This is 4 cloves of crushed and minced garlic to start, followed by 1 inch or about 1 tablespoon of finely minced ginger. Then next, this is a 1/4 head of some purple cabbage that I'm slicing up. This is mainly going to be for garnish to catch the oil from our pork cutlet. I thought that the vibrant purple looked really pretty on the plate, but of course any form of cabbage will do just fine though. Next up, as promised, here's our Persian cucumbers, about 4 of them that I'm removing the root and tip ends from, then slicing into halves here to start. We're going to be chopping these up on top of chopsticks today in a second, so anything that we can do to make these a little bit more stable to chop is going to be really crucial. Now, in the other videos that I've seen floating around the internet, I'm pretty sure that they're using disposable chopsticks for this. I couldn't find any for myself though, so instead I'm just using a set of chopsticks here that I don't really care about. We're placing the cucumber halves in between the chopsticks, then slicing downward into strips, using the chopsticks as a guide to keep our knife from slicing all the way through the cucumber. Then I'm flipping the whole thing over and repeating on the opposite side to yield these fun spiral cut cucumbers like so. Keep in mind that these cucumber spirals are going to be pretty delicate, so handle these with care or else they might snap in half. I might also recommend using a set of square chopsticks with a flattened side to them too. These rounded chopsticks were rolling around quite a bit, which made things a little bit more difficult to chop. Once our cucumbers are all chopped up, I'm adding these to a mixing bowl, then seasoning with a pinch of kosher salt and setting aside for 10 minutes, which should be just enough time to let our cucumbers start weeping off some of their excess liquid. Then we're going to do a quick vinegar-forward marinade to our cucumber salad here. This is 4 tablespoons of soy sauce and a single tablespoon of sesame oil to start, followed by 2 tablespoons each of rice vinegar and red vinegar. Last up, this is a ½ teaspoon of dashi powder for a bit of an umami bump to our salad. I'm gently tossing this all together, being very careful to make sure that we don't break any of our cucumber accordions as we do so, then setting this all aside to marinate while we move on to our tonkatsu sauce next. Okay, so diving into our sauce here, for those looking for shortcuts, tonkatsu sauce is readily available in bottled form from most Asian grocery stores, although I do love making this stuff myself when I can because I think the inclusion of fresh aromatic veggies really amplifies the sauce, plus it's also dead simple to make. So, going into my mixing bowl here is 4 tablespoons of soy sauce to start, followed by a single tablespoon each of dark soy sauce, Japanese mirin, black vinegar, and oyster sauce. Finally, last up, a bit of history here. Tonkatsu has its roots in World War II Japanese expat culture, which means that it iconically must contain the single most American thing that we can add to a sauce, which is some good old Heinz 57, 1 tablespoon's worth. We're mixing this all up to combine, then setting it aside while we get to our pork cutlets next. Moving on to our cutlets here, I'm starting by trimming off some of this extra fat cap on our cutlets. This bit is going to disproportionately contract as the cutlet fries, causing our tonkatsu to sort of cup inward instead of lying flat, which is our goal today. To similarly aid in this, I'm also going to go ahead and score the cutlets against the grain as well, also to keep them from curling inward as they fry. Finally, I'm flattening these out with a meat hammer, then setting aside for a moment while we set up our breading station. I've got 3 separate mixing bowls here, the first of which is going to contain 2 eggs whisked with a bit of water for our egg wash. Then next is a half cup of AP flour in our second bowl, and finally a single cup of panko breadcrumb in our third bowl. I'm seasoning all of this with a pinch of kosher salt to start, plus a single teaspoon of dashi powder in my panko as well. Then diving right in, we're dredging our cutlets first in this AP flour to start, followed next by our egg wash, and finally our panko to finish. I'm pressing firmly with our panko to make sure that the breadcrumb stays put, then repeating with my remaining cutlets. Over on the stove, I have my fryer rolling at 350 degrees F, then here's my cutlets going in for about 2 to 3 minutes until golden brown, flipping about halfway through for a nice even browning. I'm removing these to a dry rack to cool, then checking for 145 degrees F internal. Back over on the stove, I've emptied out my fryer and reheated over medium-high heat this time. Then I'm adding just 2 tablespoons of peanut oil and, as always, long yao for that nice non-stick surface. Going in here first, as promised, are my aromatic veggies. Here's my garlic and ginger going in for 15 seconds until nice and fragrant. I'm following this up with my tonkatsu sauce plus about a 1/4 cup of water. Then I'm bringing my fire down to a medium-low heat this time, then letting this simmer for about 5 minutes until a thick sauce forms. Back over on the cutting board, I'm slicing my tonkatsu into strips here, then adding a bit of rice to my plate using some wetted hands to form one of those nice-looking snowballs. On the side here first is a bed of purple cabbage for our tonkatsu to sit on top of, followed finally by our cucumber salad. To finish, I'm adding a spoonful of chili crisp oil to go along with my cucumber salad, followed by a bit of furikake with our rice, and of course our tonkatsu sauce on top of our cutlet, and we're ready to eat. Okay, so it is definitely a little unclear which item steals the show on the plate today. I can certainly tell you though that the glorious macro shot today is gonna go to one of these crazy looking cucumbers because, well, look, that's crazy. If I am being honest though, it was more than a little extra work to chop these cucumbers on top of chopsticks, and they absolutely taste exactly the same as they would if I just cut them into coins, or even better, you could also just use a mandolin. It is certainly fun to mess around with though, which is about as much as I can expect from an internet trend recipe, so I'll stand by this one. Otherwise, our pork cutlets also came out fantastic as well. This is absolutely a tried and true katsu recipe now that I think I've used in 3 or 4 different dishes at this point. The extra pinch of dashi powder in our panko is a small addition with huge results on the plate. It just gives the cutlet a little bit of extra umami that helps it stand on its own, independent of the katsu sauce. Then I'll say it again because it bears repeating. I know that there are a lot of die-hard Bulldog tonkatsu sauce fans out there that stand by the bottled stuff, but I really do think that the ability to add fresh aromatics to a katsu sauce gives it a nice depth of flavor that you just won't find in the bottled stuff. Okay, so that's it everyone. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you give this one a shot. For those who are new to the channel, this one is part of a larger series that's dedicated to Japanese classic dishes, so definitely check out that series next if you haven't yet because there's a lot of these. For the Bay Area locals, the Woo Can Cook Fried Rice Pop-Up is now at Wonders Brewing in Emeryville every Thursday through Sunday, so come by and say hi then if you can. More about that at woocancook.com/eats. Also a fun update, we've got t-shirts. I'm super excited to be partnering with my good friends at Pollywog Prints to make these super sweet Woo Can Cook t-shirts. They're super soft and comfortable and also have a picture of me on the back, which is crazy. We're selling these at the Woo Can Cook pop-up at Wonders Brewing, or you can head over to woocancook.com/shop to grab one of these from the online store too. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share, be nice interneters, and I'll see you soon.